Joe, he'll be here very shortly. But first up, let's talk a bit of politics with Super South Member of Parliament Minority Leader John Mudavadi and Garissa Town Member of Parliament former Majority Leader Aiden Duale. Gentlemen, good to see you. Welcome to the bench.
Great, man. Great to be here. After many years.
You came through. You came through today.
You got me off guard today.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to go to campaign financing because we talked about it earlier on, but I'll get to it in a moment. Let's start in Mombasa. Mheshimiwa, you saw the picture. President, former Prime Minister, two former vice presidents, a senator. I mean, what is going on? Somebody explain to me. What's going on?
Well, Jeff, we are in the season of politics. You know that.
Yes.
What is going on would be best explained by those who are in Mombasa. I wasn't one of them. I can also just make guesswork as you would make.
Yes.
Yeah, but official communication was out that they discussed a raft of issues, national issues. Right now, you know, we have issues of economy, and the president said he can involve in national debate with national leaders. And then there is the issue of COVID. But you can't also rule out any discussion around politics. I mean, all those are political animals.
Yes, we are. And Mheshimiwa, you're smiling there, so you're smiling.
Yeah. You know why I'm smiling is it was a very, very sad day for Kenya. The president has just assembled tribal leaders from among the 5 major tribes. That was a meeting of tribal leaders. And it was contrary to the philosophy of the Jubilee and President Uhuru Kenyatta that I knew for many years. Why do I say so? Kenya is composed of 43 tribes and people of different faith. The president assembled 5-6 guys representing 3 major communities, the Kamba, the Luya, the Luo. And Jeff, look at me in the eyes. The governor of Mombasa, nobody was represented from the coast region. The governor of Mombasa, who happens to be the deputy party leader of ODM, was not invited. But because...
How do you know he wasn't invited? Maybe he wasn't around.
No, let me tell you.
Maybe he wasn't around.
No, let me tell you. Don't assume that. They should have done that. But Baba had to bring to balance the Luya leadership. He had to transport Governor Oparanya, another deputy party leader, all the way from Kakamega.
And what about Gideon Moy then? I mean, you're going.
No, I'm saying he's part of it.
But you said 3 tribes.
No, I forgot. I mean, 4. It was a meeting of tribal leaders.
Okay, let me ask
you. Even if you want, and you know one of the statements that came out that the president discussed with those leaders. Peace and cohesion. Give me a break, man.
But what's wrong with the united opposition? What's wrong with the united opposition?
No, you asked me. You asked me how that picture looked like.
You explained, but I'm asking now, what's wrong with the united opposition?
President of a country meeting with leaders of parties which are not in government should be seen as a progressive step towards cohesion. So I'm wondering why Honorable Duale has a problem with that. Secondly, first of all, someone like Raila Odinga is not leader of the Luo community. Far from it. Raila Odinga is a national leader. Raila Odinga leads a party that has presence across the country. In fact, as a matter of fact, Kilifi County produced 100% ODM representation among the elected leaders, from MCA to the governor. A feat that was not even achieved by Homa Bay, which also did very well. At least there were 2 MCAs who were elected on other parties.
And then you kicked out the governor for some reason, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. And by the way, that would also be discussed very well, because you're talking to the chairman of ODM.
Correct.
You're not just talking to a small person in the party.
Correct.
So I would answer that, but maybe for another day. So I found that the argument by Honorable Duale a bit
but
interesting.
I'm saying this.
Those were not tribal leaders. Those are national leaders.
No, but I'm saying if the president was meeting the leader of the opposition, and the leader of opposition is Honorable Raila Odinga, the optics, Kenyans view that the president meeting the leader of opposition, the 2 of them, for the interest of the country is a different thing. But the president has assembled a group of leaders from various political parties representing tribal interests in organizing. And you know, Jeff, let's be very honest. I'm a very good friend of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I worked with him from 2008. I know him very well. I've worked with Deputy President William Ruto. I was part of the formation of URP-TNA, and then that culminated in Jubilee. President Uhuru Kenyatta has won 3 elections. The rank and the file membership of Jubilee today is 8.4 million, me included. It has never happened in any mature democracy. The president of a country, when he's exiting in a transition or succession politics, he might decide to have a problem who to pick among the key leaders within his party. That's what happened in South Africa. When Zuma was leaving, Zuma wanted to give the mantle to his wife, who was the AU chair.
That's right.
He didn't want Ramaphosa. But it's the first time, you read the history of key political parties that formed government. It's the first time, very extraordinary, that the president with a rank and file membership and leadership of 8.4 million feels he should leave that and organize the opposition to inherit and to be part of his legacy in succession. What I'm saying is, you know, the president can have a problem with William Ruto, but there are many key leaders in his party. And tell me one from CCM to ANC to the Labour Party to the Conservative to the Republican. Tell me where a president, a party leader, leaves the rank and the file, cross over the fence to look for a candidate and tries to organize the opposition, which I see they are not agreeing.
But Chairman, he hasn't picked. He hasn't.
That's what I wanted to say. That
no. The president picked.
At least it is not yet.
He told them they must support Honorable Raila Odinga, and I think he was very right.
That is speculative in my view, because no communication has come to that effect. I've just read it in social media, and people were purporting to know the details of what was discussed. I saw some 11 points listed. I think that must have come from Itumbi. Yeah?
No, it must have come from the Hassler Intelligence Bureau.
Yeah.
It's a very credible.
I wonder who among the 7. I wonder who among the 7 gave that feed. But anyway, the point is that the president has not come out as at now to announce who he is likely to support for 2022. We are just speculating and reading body language, etc. Secondly, he has given examples of ANC and other parties. These are established political parties. Jubilee hasn't reached that level. Thirdly, it is also being argued elsewhere that it is the deputy president who ran away from the president. The president actually asked him to hold his horses. In fact, if you could play that clip where he asked him, wait for the baton. But instead, the deputy president is running in the opposite direction. So the president was left, in my view, I cannot speak for him, but I just think that probably he was left with no option but now to look elsewhere, if he's going to look elsewhere. Yeah. Because 2022 is still a few months away. And in Kenya, by the way, coalitions that have won election or purport to have won election, like I believe Jubilee is purporting that they have won 3 elections, even where they competed alone, usually they are crafted towards a few months to election, 2-3 months. So we still have enough time. In my view, I think Honorable Duale is a bit bitter that the relationship, the cordial relationship that was there between the president and the deputy is no longer there.
You know, that's a very good point. Let me ask you this. You know, 500 kilometers away from Mombasa, Deputy President William Ruto is conducting business as usual, meeting groups here and there. The question is, what went wrong?
No, you know, this is the elephant in the room. Yeah. And I think the best person to answer that, or the 2 people to answer that, will be the president and his deputy.
But you said you're very close to the
yes.
To both of them.
You know, and you know that is why, Jeff, in fact, you have asked me a very good question. That is why some of us who are insiders in the Jubilee administration the last 9 years will not fall for this narrative of anti-William Ruto, because the president did not call any section of his leadership, me included, and said, we have a problem with William Ruto. William Ruto has done A, B, C, D, and that is why he is not the right leader for our party. He's our deputy party leader. So main as that, some of us don't want to be victims of politics of deceit and betrayal. I mean, we are men of faith. We are men of honor. We went with William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta. I did 25 times to ICC. I was not in ICC. I was not facing serious crimes. It was them who were facing. I went with them to very many prayers. But you know, what William Ruto is facing within the context of post-independence Kenyan politics, Raila Odinga went through this. Raila Odinga, the current opposition leader, went through this when he said Kibaki Tosha. The aftermath, he went through humiliation. In the Grand Coalition government, which me and Bandi were members, former Prime Minister was not treated very well. Now, the architecture of the 2010 Constitution tried to insulate that humiliation. And that's why today, the question you've asked, the president is in Mombasa meeting a cabal of tribal leaders. The deputy president is protected by the Constitution under 143. And you know, when I saw my good friend, the former Vice President, Kalonzo, said, oh, you know, when I was the Vice President, I used to take permission from the President. You know, he doesn't know when he was the Vice President is different from the Deputy President. The Deputy President, the Vice President, Kalonzo, his letter of appointment as a Vice President was signed by President Kibaki. You're aware of that? Mm-hmm. But for Deputy President William Ruto, the way President Uhuru Kenyatta received his letter, his certificate at Bomas from Chapukati and Isaka San, his predecessor, William Ruto, received his certificate. They were both elected together. They were in the ballot box. So what happened, where did the rain started beating us, is history. But what we are now discussing is that President Uhuru Kenyatta, my very good friend, the best he should do is to emulate President Mwai Kibaki during his last days of the transition period.
Okay.
And all that he needs to do is to assure the country that he will hand over power, which it is the Constitution that will ask him to hand over, to whoever will be elected majority by the Kenyan people, and ask institutions that work with the IBC. We will need a credible, peaceful country. That would be the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta.
By the way, you also forgot Daniel Arap Moi in your, when you talk about humiliation, remember?
Oh, yes, by the same cabal. In fact, thank you very much. And that's why I'm telling you, if you read President Kenyatta's time, they were the Mbiu Koinanges, very powerful people, who were called the deep state. Yeah. President Moi, you had the Nicholas Biwott, the late Nicholas Biwott, you had ZK Chariot. You come to the NAC, you had the Murungarus and the Kraitus and the Dev Mangi. So in the second term of President Kibaki, you had Amos Kimunya, the current leader of majority, very powerful. In our first government, you had Waiguru and the cabal. And now you have another team. So I really want to ask public servants who are bestowed by, or been given responsibility by the Constitution, they should see the country bigger than, fighting, humiliating both the office and the character of the holder of the deputy president.
Mheshimiwa, it begs the question. Obviously, a lot of people say, you know what, that relationship that Mheshimiwa Dwala just talked about was ruined by the handshake. That's what some people say.
No.
That's what they say.
I think, Jeff, you've heard of this word, you know about it, benchmarking. Kenyans talk about it all the time, including our MCS. I think the mistake we did, we should have taken the deputy president for benchmarking, maybe in the United States of America, to see how Biden worked with Obama and how, even in the Trump administration, the vice president, who is a running mate and a joint ticket with the president, how they work. There can't be co-presidency in our country.
There's no co-president.
The president must just be one. And I think that is the origin of the problem between the president and the deputy.
Let's talk about the handshake.
But I can't really place it because the two of them have the answers. But handshake, how did handshake ruin the relationship if it was strong? It's not possible for handshake to ruin a strong relationship. Handshake found a weak relationship. And I think, if you ask me, I think the president just decided to survive with this deputy in the first term. We are aware that there are issues around the deputy president bragging how he's the one running the government. And maybe the president was not happy with that. And we are not confronting that, or they are not confronting that, because I'm not supposed to confront that. It's
in fact, it's not
Jubilee. It cannot be that immediately after election, the second election, when now the president knows he's not going to run again, that there would be issues. Those issues were there. But because you want to get a second term, you play them down. And then you play it down. But when the time comes now, you move your direction. Remember, Jeff, when the president started talking about fighting corruption, it is debatable. There are people who think he was not serious about it. Some people think he was serious about it. The deputy president came out and contradicted him on a number of occasions. How do you work with a deputy president who keeps on contradicting you? Even on the handshake, by the way, the deputy president did not embrace it from day one. He did not embrace it. So anything that the president was doing in his second term, the deputy president was contradicting. He was running ahead of his time. You know, if you want to succeed someone and you want to inherit the entire machinery, including the voting bloc, you need to play your cards right. And I don't think the deputy president play his cards right.
Jeff, it's very interesting, very interesting that a member and the leader of minority has the audacity to lecture Jubilee and its leadership. You know, he's the leader of the opposition.
Yes, he is.
On how we should run, how the president should behave with his deputy, how we were in first term, how the president just wanted to use the deputy president. But let me tell you, I was one of the people within Jubilee who embraced the handshake. Okay?
But the deputy president didn't.
No, let me finish. Yes.
He didn't.
No. The deputy president and many of us in Jubilee didn't embrace it. They were very skeptical. And I think now they have been vindicated.
How so?
They were vindicated because the end result, the process of the famous handshake, is ending up in Mombasa with a group of tribal leaders on how to organize them in order to seize power in the next general election.
Why is it tribal? Why is it tribal when it comes
let me tell you. People were skeptical in that we have no problem with the handshake. We have no problem with peace. But are we sure that this handshake has other objectives? And I was one of the persons who say, no, you guys, let's wait and see. But Jeff, we are fairly intelligent. We went to school, we got C+, B, some of us. So we read, and we have been in the corridors of politics the last 14 years. I mean, with the Honorable Bandi. We know when games are being played.
And you think there's a game being played here?
The game, the handshake led to the total isolation, humiliation of and disrespect of the character and the office of the deputy president. It expanded to anybody who believes in his philosophy, to anybody under the sun who's friend. I am a victim. I mean, I was one of the top leadership of the Jubilee administration. I left, or whether I was removed as a leader of majority, on a single premise that these are perceived friends. So all these, and secondly,
Are you saying that's not true?
No.
Come on, let me bring Mheshimiwa.
No,
the handshake
yes.
brought peace, if anything.
No,
you
no,
have to admit.
That is true.
Calmed
And
the
actually,
nerves and the tensions.
Actually, Jeff.
But Jeff, let me tell
Hold
you.
on, let him finish.
If we can go back to where we were just before handshake, you would agree with me that we were almost losing this country.
Yeah.
So there was need for handshake.
How?
We're almost losing the country.
How are we losing the country?
I don't know whether we have forgotten very fast.
There was an election.
That after that election, there were controversies around
No,
it.
there was a fake swearing.
Anyway, let me put my point. You know,
Yes.
Duale believes
yes.
that there was no problem.
Yes.
I believe there was a problem, and I think many Kenyans know there was a problem, and so there was handshake. In fact, Kenyans were calling for the two leaders to leave as statesmen and come out and shake hands. I remember even on your bench here, some Kenyans called for the two of them to shake hands. But look, Jeff, I have not said that the president was using the DP to get second term. But even if it were you are the president, and you are facing a formidable competition and a formidable opposition, and you have a deputy whom you are not very comfortable with, you can accommodate him for the time being. But listen, if Duale was also fair to the president, Honorable Duale, my friend, was fair to the president, can he remember that people like Sudi kept on, for a very long time, were abusing the president, chest thumping and calling the president names, and the DP did not reprimand them. And so, but the president's side, I remember even Munjiri, who was really a strong supporter of the president, kept on saying, the problem he has with the DP is that he's campaigning early. So now, look at those two scenarios. The bottom line is the DP also felt that the president had no option, had to work with him. The president could not go anywhere, and so he could treat him the way he wanted. And that is not how to treat someone who still has powers.
No, I think that's
someone who is still the president of a country. And so I don't think they should even lament.
No, Jeff.
They should pick
Let's not
the
have a
pieces
discussion on...
and move on.
Yeah. By the way, the other day...
Jeff, just a minute.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about Oscar Sudi and many, those kind of characters or leaders are in every formation. They're in ODM.
But it's close to him.
Let me finish.
Your same party.
No, let me finish. Let me finish.
Let
me finish. Yes. Even in his own party.
Nobody abuses the leadership.
No.
You would never think of doing that in ODM.
Let me tell you, Jeff. I was among the people who were the founder members of ODM. And that's why even I had to leave it in 2009. ODM is a cult.
No.
It's a cult. It's
but
like,
you're a former founding member?
Yes. Why did I left in 2009? Yeah, ODM is a cult. Nobody can speak. It's like the Catholic Church, the Pope. It has structures. But Jubilee is a very democratic party. I condone the likes of both sides, from the president side and the deputy side, those who use vulgar language, those who utter unpalatable words. But those are found in every political formation in the country.
But when you lack respect for your head of state or head of party...
Let me tell you, when you are a leader and you are a member of parliament, that's why you carry the title honorable. You know, it's not Jeff to tell you how to behave. The moment you carry the title honorable, you must behave it. He's a leader of majority. A minority. I'm the ranking member. Even today in the House, you'll find different types of people. That is within the political space. And I think it's upon the people of Kenya. If you start from the 10th parliament, 9th parliament, 10th parliament, in fact, our standards in terms of the kind of leaders we elect, and this is the blame goes to the voters, is going down. I condone, whether it is a minor commander, whether it is Wambugu, whether it is Karini Kega, whether it's Oscar Sudi, whether it's Gladys Wanga, and Millie Odhiambo during the days when they were abusing President Uhuru Kenyatta in our first term. I mean, ODM said, Babu Owino, they said the most palatable words against the president. So whether you are in the opposition or whether you are in the ruling party, you are under obligation to respect the office and the person of the presidency. It's a symbol of unity.
Chairman,
but you see, my argument, Jeff, actually he called ODM a cult. You cannot easily leave a cult and leave. So you would be dead by now. So cults are never left like that. So ODM is not a cult. If you leave a cult, you will die. And so many people have been leaving ODM and they survive and they are still alive. So ODM is not a cult. It's only that we are disciplined as a party, and we have structures, and we have our ways of meeting and resolving our issues. We meet, our NEC meets every 3 months, the minimum, and we meet as a central committee. But what I wanted to say is, if you are in a political outfit, you are in a political party, and you have a political party, you are leader, there is no way you can attack that leader, abuse that leader, scandalize that leader without being reprimanded. And that is what was happening. And by the way, everybody knows how close Oscar Sudi is to the deputy president. The latest proof is they were going to Uganda together. That was a trip of a selected few. So someone who is very close to you, who moves around with you, who probably has some of your secrets, coming out to abuse someone you deputize, and without reprimand, that exposes you. How then do you expect that same person to support you in your quest for leadership? If before you get into leadership, already you are demonstrating that you have no respect, no regard to that person. So you scare the person you expect to give you the support.
All right, let's switch.
And I think there are many examples we would give if there was time.
I want to switch gears now. Let's talk of a cabinet reshuffle. It's a year to the elections. That's what we're hearing.
Well, I'm also hearing. I don't do cabinet reshuffle.
Okay, let me ask you in another way. Is it even wise to think of a cabinet reshuffle a year to the elections?
Well, if you ask me, if the president wanted to have a more cohesive government, he would have done that reshuffle earlier than today. 1 year is short, but again, in terms of service delivery, even a month is enough time. You can offer some services. If the president feels that he needs some order into his cabinet, which he should have done so many months back, he can do it. I don't know whether it would realize its objectives now. In my view, it's a bit too late. Yes, in the day. Yeah.
Cabinet reshuffle?
Yes.
When the president has a prerogative under the Constitution, even to reshuffle 1 month to the end of his administration. But it's not good practice. But you know, the headlines of the cabinet reshuffle, these are baits for the opposition.
To do what?
These people really want power. They're hungry.
No.
So these headlines is that because you have to, the president now, all of a sudden, and I know President Uhuru Kenyatta, and I think he must listen to very wise counsel, which he's not listening to of late. The president is busy trying to manage a very disjointed opposition. In fact, let me agree with Honorable Bandi. The only serious political party that has existed since 2005 is ODM.
And then he calls it a cult?
No.
I mean,
I'm
you speaking from both sides of your mouth?
You know, let me tell you. You can have this building existing for 50 years, but this building, inside it, there might be different things. So I'm saying, in terms of us who formed URP and TNA, and felt these are tribal parties, let's form a more national party and form Jubilee. We should have learned from ODM in terms of having one political party. But the president is busy trying to craft a winning formula. And you know, the only time this kind of a scenario happened in Kenya, the victim was President Uhuru Kenyatta himself. President Moi assembled a team of seasoned octogenarian politicians, the likes of Raila Odinga, George Saitoti, Mudavadi, to make sure KANU exists and his legacy and his candidate wins the 2022 general election.
2002.
Yes, 2002. What did the President Uhuru Kenyatta did? President Moi did. He forced President Uhuru Kenyatta onto those other leaders. They walked out of KANU en masse one day, crossed from Serena to Uhuru Park and endorsed Kibaki.
Okay, so why doesn't your candidate walk away then?
No. I mean, it's not my candidate, the people who walked away. Why are we walking away? We have, within the Jubilee Party, in fact, we just shifted to the only coalition party within Jubilee, which was the former PDR UDA.
Which is UDA.
So we have not left Jubilee. We have not left Jubilee.
You have not left Jubilee.
Let me tell you, the only.
So why don't you leave then?
But we have left. I mean, we are in UDA, which is the only recognized coalition partner deposited with the registrar of political party is UDA. So we are not going very far. We are within the compound of Jubilee.
Yeah. I'm confused here. Are they Jubilee or are they UDA?
No. But let me ask you. Do you know the history of UDA? UDA is a former PDR,
right,
which has got about 4 MPs in the National Assembly, 1 senator, and a number of MCAs. This was the only party that had a coalition agreement, a sister party to Jubilee.
Okay.
So when we were kicked out of Jubilee, we were told you are persona non grata. The deputy party leader was told, Jeff, you live in Kenya. I mean, you didn't come yesterday. William Ruto went to Jubilee House. He was told, get out, you are not. By people who are not even elected in the party. So we said, fine, you guys kick us from the main bedroom. Then we went to the next room, you know, the guest room, the downstairs. I'm sure where you live, you have a guest room. So we are there.
I don't.
No,
I
Jeff,
get what you're saying.
Jeff,
Yes, sir.
just 2 things. First, I want to correct that we are not interested in cabinet positions. If Kenyans will be appointed who are affiliated to ODM, so be it, because they are also Kenyans.
Absolutely.
But if we wanted to form a coalition government, we would have done it. Now, the reason why he says
government of unity, national unity,
a national
not
unity
coalition,
or national government of national unity, but look, but you could also be in a coalition. I mean, we could leave NASA. We could lose NASA coalition and go.
You lose a minority.
Of course, we'd lose those seats and we become part of the government. But we didn't want to do that.
You really
now,
worked hard.
The issue that is trying to bring of being in UDA, being in Jubilee, not in Jubilee, is for legal issues, so that they don't lose their seats. But basically, they are out of Jubilee. Why? In Kiamba, UDA competed against Jubilee. You cannot be in Jubilee and compete in Jubilee.
It was a friendly match.
So the bottom line is that these are 2 political parties, 2 political outfits, competing in an election so viciously as they did. So the UDA is not in Jubilee. Let nobody cheat you.
What is that, an own goal?
ANC? No. They competed ANC and
no, that is ours is a coalition. Jubilee is a party. Yeah, Jubilee is a party. Ours was a NASA coalition, and you cannot say ANC is in ODM. No, they are not in ODM. So yours is an animal that we don't understand. Probably we are struggling to understand. Can they make us understand?
Let me say.
I'm confused.
Let me say this.
We were in a NASA coalition with Ford Kenya, ANC, Wiper, and CCM. CCM left.
Let me give him a good example.
But they didn't leave officially, and ODM.
By the way, is NASA dead?
No. NASA right now is, but it is not officially dead. We have pronounced that we are killing it, but we have not communicated the burial of NASA.
And the death certificate?
The death certificate has not been issued because it has not actually, but it is not there. Now, where theirs is confusing is you cannot have a Jubilee as a party and then you call UDA in Jubilee. You should have said that UDA has been in an arrangement with Jubilee. So now, someone like you cannot be in UDA because you are a member of Jubilee. Honorable Duale was elected on Jubilee ticket, not UDA or not PDR.
Not Jeff.
So he cannot be in Jubilee and be in UDA. In fact, even if you go to the register of political parties, if you are a member of Jubilee, you cannot be a member of UDA. That is the truth. That is the
And yet UDA is operating out there. And
No. Jeff, let me tell you. And let me take my good friend. You know, we joined parliament at the same time. And we were both of us ODM.
Yeah.
And when we disagreed fundamentally, ideologically with the ODM, we left ODM, led by even the deputy president, and formed URP in 2010, 2011. So I know this political terrain more than anybody else. I'm a member of parliament 3 times in 3 different political parties. I was elected on ODM, I was elected 2nd time on URP, and I was elected 3rd time on Jubilee, and now I am on my way to a to a friendly Jubilee party called UDA.
Jeff,
let me finish.
I'm the complete opposite.
No. Jeff,
I'm the complete opposite.
No, Jeff,
I'm the only member of National Assembly.
Jeff, now
hold on.
I'm the only member of National Assembly who has been elected in 3 consecutive elections on one party ticket.
Only one.
No,
Yes,
but Jeff,
only one.
have not finished. Because he has no choice.
No, which choice?
No,
What do you mean? I mean, other people.
No, but let me finish. Honorable Bandi has no choice between 2007 to 2017 because minus a party called ODM and a leader called Raila Odinga, his political insurance certificate lies with ODM as a party and party leader Raila Odinga. But where I come from, my friend, it is not the party dominance. It is the leadership credentials. Even today, I can leave UDA and go back to ODM and win my seat. So this guy is a hostage of political patronage, if I put it. So minus the shadow, and there are many people. In fact, one of the reasons why people are pushing Raila Odinga, there are 2 groups of people who are pushing Raila Odinga to become a candidate. As the UDA fraternity, we want a very strong candidate. And in this mix, we don't see that in Kalonzo, we don't see that in Musalia, we don't see that in Gideon. We want to face a formidable competitor. That's Raila Odinga. Now, when you go back to Luo Nyanza backyard, there are people who must push and ride on the back of Honorable Raila Odinga. Man, I respect a lot who inducted me in politics, for them to win their local political seats.
Chairman, you've just been called a hostage.
Hostage of the party.
First, I'm surprised. I've never wanted a strong opponent. Competition is competition. I would always want the easiest ride to the position, parliament, etc. I'm surprised they want a very strong
of course, we're serious
opponent. 2, and now being held hostage, there are people who wanted to leave ODM, they have left, even in my region.
And they lost.
So if I wanted to leave, there are some who have won back their seats, but if I wanted to leave ODM, I would have left. But I don't want to leave ODM because I subscribe to the principles and policies of the party and the party leader. I must admit, I love the party leader, I support the party leader. But even in 2007, Honorable Duale may say that now Mbadi is known, Mbadi is the chairman. But 2007, I was pretty a newcomer in the party, so to speak, as in terms of publicity. I was there chini ya maji uko chini.
But you won.
And I made it.
Fairly.
And I won against heavyweights. Even a former assistant minister, the landlord of the party, I defeated in 2007.
Yeah.
So it's not just that we cling on other people's courts. 2013, well, I had weak opposition. 2017, again, the landlord of the party came and contested against me. And Jeff, you have the history around it. Now, the fact that we support Raila Odinga should not be seen that we are held hostage. I can also maybe say that he's held hostage by William Ruto for other reasons. Maybe not because of regional dynamics, maybe because of friendship.
By the way, it's not only...
It's
not only ODM.
Yes.
You know, there are certain regions, Mount Kenya region, Rift Valley, Ukambani. There are certain regions that, fine, the people love you. but you must be in the right
But you see,
party.
him also, Honorable Duale, probably it's also Ruto. I know he's Ruto's friend. So he may be held hostage by that friendship. So people get held hostage in different ways.
All right, gentlemen, let's come back to Parliament. You're the minority leader. IEBC wants to put a spending cap on campaigns.
Yes.
And you guys are refusing it.
Not really. We are not refusing it. In fact, if there is something that I would have loved to support with all my energy, is that campaign financing cap. Because we don't want people to buy seats in this country. And some of us are facing opponents and opposition from people who have a lot of money. And of course, I don't want to go into the details of how they made their money or how they are making their money, because some of them are making money even right now. But IBC is to blame. IBC all this time, from before 2017 election, because these campaign regulations should have been in place even before 2017 elections. But they were deferred because there was no time. The Act is very specific on that the rules must be in place, regulations must be in place 12 months or 1 year to election. The last date for the rules, the regulations to be in place was 8th of this month.
Right.
That was Sunday, because 9th next year is the date of election. IBC has had this information from 2017. For heaven's sake, I don't understand how they could wait until up to last week. And you know, regulations, when they come to Parliament, they have to be considered by a committee. That committee has to make a recommendation. They could have even rejected some of the provisions of the regulation, which means they had to go back to IBC. So I think IBC, for some reason, did not want these regulations to be used in next year's elections. And therefore, they did this deliberately, in my view, because they have lawyers, they have legal team in IBC. So where we are, they have complicated matters for us. They brought these regulations when they are time-barred. Right now, you can see the committees in the process of rejecting them on the basis of technicality. And so we are going to next year's elections without, again, the campaign financing regulation and the caps.
Surely, so IBC cannot be that incompetent.
No, Jeff. To sum it up, and you know, as we approach the general election, we must protect the credibility and the trust on IBC. Yeah. But on this one, IBC legal team let down the commission and Chapukati, and he's a lawyer. If you read the Election Campaign Financing Act number 42 of 2016, specifically Section 5, read together with Section 12 and Section 29, ask IBC to submit the regulations to the National Assembly 1 year to the general election. And upon approval by the House, then IBC can gazette. Even the gazettement of IBC on Monday within the reading of the law was null and void.
Because they didn't go through Parliament.
You know there are certain regulations or statutory instruments that cannot be gazetted or they cannot be implemented until the House approves. For example, VAT regulations. When the minister brings the VAT regulations, he cannot charge VAT unless the House approves it. There are certain incidents. So I think there was a complete liturgy or deliberate attempt on the part of IBC, because they had 4 years. Why we didn't do it in last election? The Campaign Financing Act was passed at the tail end of 2016, which was very close to 2017 general election. It's just like the delimitation of boundaries. It says IBC cannot delimit boundaries 1 year to the general election.
So who gets the last word on this?
Is
it over?
No, let me tell you, it's over. It's over. I mean,
what if someone goes to court?
No. I mean, people go to court to challenge a piece of law passed by Parliament, ascended to by the President. There is nothing that is going to be passed. The regulation was to be approved. So
I go back to my question: how incompetent is this commission? I mean, how?
No, I think to me, I have a lot to fault IBC on, because one, remember, the last election was annulled by the Supreme Court. One of the reasons was the opaqueness and transparency of IBC. Jeff, right now, the High Court declared BBI process nullity on the basis that public participation, one of the reasons there was no proper public participation. If I ask you today, these regulations, where did IBC hold public participation? How extensive was it? I mean, this just demonstrates to you that IBC has not woken up, or at least the IBC we have has not woken up to the realities of the assignment at hand. And the three commissioners take blame because they are in the office, they are in that office, and they still believe it is a commission, isn't it? Therefore, they should behave and conduct themselves in a way that demonstrates that the commission is still functioning.
What does that say about next year's election? Are we walking on dangerous grounds here that they might not be ready?
If you ask me to give my position, is simple. We are getting 4 new commissioners. Yeah. I think this commission, if the House approves. Yeah, if the House approves, well, we'll get 4. Even if we reject these ones, somehow we'll have to get others. The moment we get the 4, I think we need to deal with these other 3.
No.
It's like get rid of the 3.
We deal with them. We have to deal with them. Because, you see, they have demonstrated incompetence. And the other team, so the entire 7 commissioners were incompetent. Now we are getting 4 new. These 3 have demonstrated further incompetence. Look at what they did in Kiamba. One by election, taking how many hours, Jeff?
Jeff.
Honestly, why should we sympathize with people?
Explain, deal with them. Explain, deal with them.
Dealing with them is to ask them to leave office. Jeff, and have other people come in.
Let me come here. I'm very happy that my leader tonight, has declassified what ODM and cohorts are discussing behind.
No, I've not discussed this with anyone.
Let me finish.
It was his opinion.
No, let me
finish. I have to put a disclaimer.
Jeff,
I haven't discussed this with anyone.
Can you be fair?
I am just giving my opinion.
I have
that was his opinion.
No, I have the floor.
No, I was just clarifying that is my opinion.
I have listened.
Yes.
I have listened, so listen to me. The viewers want to listen to me. ODM have a history of punching and blaming IBC. IBC, they don't vote. IBC is a referee. IBC, they're the arbiters. And ODM and even other quarters wanted to remove Chebukati and his 2 colleagues the last 4 years. But they realized the removal of a commissioner, the process is set in the Constitution. Okay? You find the allegations, you file it, you file a petition to Parliament. If Parliament agrees with you, the President sets a tribunal. So now it's 1 year to the election. Whether they like it or not, Chebukati and his 2 colleagues will stay. We add the other 4. They form a quorum. And it's upon everybody, including political parties and leaders. We should not fault IBC because of this campaign financing. They have other bigger mandate. Everybody, including the citizens, going towards the 2022 cut down. From where I sit, we must build confidence, we must build trust, we must see whether there are any laws that we can change as Parliament to facilitate a free, fair, credible, peaceful elections.
So are you saying you trust the commission? You think they're ready for the election?
Very ready for the election.
You think so?
Very ready. They conducted by-elections. ODM did not participate in Kiamba, neither in Juja. Because of the handshake. Yeah. They didn't participate. So they are the wrong people to judge the dynamics of Kiamba and Juja. They participated in Matungu and Bonchari.
So if UDA had lost Kiamba, what would you say?
No. I'm telling you, let me tell you. In every election, including the one that I went through, in every election, there must be a winner and a loser. And if you are aggrieved, the Constitution provides the recourse route. So campaign financing cannot be. And I really want to ask political leaders, members of Parliament, aspirants, the donor community, everybody, the institutions, the security sector, let us all of us work together to give the people of Kenya an opportunity for IBC to conduct free, fair, transparent and peaceful elections.
Okay.
You know, my friend.
But if now 1 year to the elections, if 1 year to the elections, you know, ODM is talking about removing those people. I'm telling you, it's climbing Mount Kenya using a donkey cart.
You know, my friend,
it's a difficult thing. They couldn't do it the last 4 years.
My friend Dwale has just surprised me because he is protecting these commissioners with all this.
No, I'm not protecting.
Strength, you know, from the but from the way you are talking.
No, I'm not
but
saying.
Anyway, the point is.
Well, why are you removing them? What have they committed?
Let me just put my point.
And if they're crimes, put them in a petition. Bring it to the
Dwale
House.
complained that he had the airtime. Now he's taking my airtime. You see, Dwale is finding excuse for these campaign financing regulations and placing it in the legal team of IBC. He's not even sure whether the legal team had advised the commissioners and they didn't take it. So the commission is represented by the commissioners. So if they have failed to deliver, it is the commission. Now, number two, it's not just about the campaign financing regulation. I've talked about the process leading to 2022 election. It is now that they have started communicating. IBC has been just quiet about the process leading to 2022 election. Number three, all these by-elections we have had issues. It's not just Kiambaa alone. But I cited Kiambaa in terms of the time it took even to declare the winner in one constituency. Look at what happened in Matungu. The kind of violence that was that took place in Matungu. Violence does not happen in a day. Violence happens in there is a process leading to violence. And it is upon IBC to crack the whip early enough. One of the officers was frog-marched and manhandled and completely violated in my view, and she was a lady. I have not heard anything. Remember, Alice Waume in the last election even roughed up an officer of IBC. It went quiet. I mean, IBC must demonstrate that it has a teeth to bite and to bring order to the electoral process in this country. Otherwise, they will be causing chaos election after election. And Dwale is saying 1 year. Last time we changed the commission.
Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff.
We changed the commission.
I remember.
People went to
it is ODM
to Windsor, and we changed the
Jeff, let me just say this.
Yeah.
You know, within the IBC functions, there are other institutions that offer auxiliary services. That, for example, what happened in Bonchari and what happened in Matungu, the people who are to deal with those kind of violence was the police, the office of the DPP. I mean, I remember even the DPP then, during Alice Wahome's case, she was indicted by the DPP then. So, you know, you cannot. IBC is supposed to make sure that they give the security sector the number of personnel they need in every polling station. The function of IBC is to make sure the polls are open at the time designated, the registers and the equipments are ready.
And they won. Hold on. They won 41 billion shillings from you guys. You know that?
No. I mean, we should come to that.
Huh?
You know, we should come to that. And I said, if IBC wants 40 billion, the people who appropriate funds in Kenya is National Assembly. IBC is oversight by a committee called JKLive that takes their proposal to the budget committee. Tomorrow, for not even next week. Tomorrow, that committee, and we said yesterday with the Mudavadi, they should call IBC, tell them, convince us beyond reasonable doubt, itemize how you want to spend the 40 billion. If they convince Parliament and they get the money, then once that money is being used, it's again for an independent office of the Auditor General to confirm.
Do you know, Jeff?
You know, we have
IBC has powers within the law to deal with those who are violating the election laws.
You're saying they have no teeth?
They have the powers.
Toothless?
They are not using it. It's not about the police using the police. They can, through IBC, Mbadi can even be disqualified as a candidate.
That's before.
So if now,
before the election.
If now the security apparatus is not effective, why can't IBC use the other laws?
You know, we are used to the narrative of ODM and cabal going to the streets, changing every time they think they can't win an election, they want to deal with the referee. You know, you are a football
no, but
fan.
Yes,
I mean, I
much.
watch football.
Yes.
I mean, I lose. I mean, one time Man U was doing very badly. Last season we did a bit well. We were at the top.
Top.
Now, ODM, every time they're in a corner. I mean, you know, you can't win elections by fighting the referee. IBC don't vote.
No,
It's the people of Kenya who vote.
Okay, let's switch gears. Let's switch gears.
Jeff, I have to answer that.
Go on.
Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya
Then you go to Supreme Court.
found that IBC did not conduct 2017 elections in a credible, transparent manner.
How come
It
you
is
did
enough
not,
said, and they
we are
annulled.
not just refusing
And they
to
annulled
accept.
it.
And how come they
if the elections...
Ask him how come they didn't go for the rerun?
Yeah, but because it was the same
No.
referee. I mean, if it has been found, if it has been decided that referee did not conduct, or rather,
Yes.
manage a football match,
Yes.
do you expect the same referee to again go and
So
officiate?
you want to choose a referee?
So we not to choose.
They want to choose a referee.
No.
That should be given to them.
No, Duale, just have some order.
Yes.
You see, we were not calling for choosing of the referee. We were calling for leveling the playing ground. You can't go to a
Jeff,
football match where you already know the outcome.
Can I be magnanimous?
Yeah.
Can I be magnanimous for once?
For once.
Pardon?
I speak for UDA.
Go on.
I want ODM to produce the chair of IBC, remove Chepokati, get all the commissioners, get all the returning officers. We will go to the people and we'll beat them in that election.
You know, that is the same language that Ruto has been saying, but he has not proved it. Which election has he won as a presidential candidate?
Oh,
this is the first election he's going to contest as a presidential candidate.
Which election did you win?
Which election?
You guys won.
We have won many elections.
Which was presidential?
They have been stolen from us. We have won elections in 2007. We were with you.
Give us a break.
We were with you contesting those elections.
No, 2007.
Yes, we were with you contesting and protesting the elections, and including your boss, Ruto.
No, I was only in
who
2007.
actually was very wild about the outcome of that election. In fact, one of the reasons for the disagreement between Raila and Ruto was because Raila accepted to work with the Kibaki.
Let me tell you.
If you're saying we have not won elections...
No, you have not won elections.
2007, we were with you saying we won election. Today, because you are in UDA, we didn't win that election.
I'm a man of faith.
Hold on. Let me ask you this. You said you won 2007?
Yes, we did.
And?
2017.
And 13?
20.
In fact, 13 is when you came very close.
Not very close.
Because the difference was 8,000 to the 50+1 mark. That is the closest ODM and their leader have come to winning elections. In 2007, I was in that group.
So you're saying...
by the way, I was...
You're saying Ruto would beat Raila if the election were held today?
If elections are held today, and if elections are held in 2022, Ruto will beat Raila by a very big margin, 2 million votes. And you have interviewed me a number of times, and all what I say come to pass, including the issue of the village politician.
What do you say?
No, a lot of things he said have not come to pass. But anyway, I don't want to get personal here. You see, let me tell you.
No, I'm saying me and
outcome of elections are not known until when the elections are conducted. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't know how he has come to that conclusion. Because if you asked me, if I had time with my statistics, I would tell you it's very difficult for Ruto to win this election.
The way we feel...
By the way, let me tell you, Duale,
Yep.
you know, let me tell you something. This chest thumping and thinking that you can win an election on your own, and you call other people tribal chiefs, this country, the way it is, parties have strengths in some regions.
Yeah.
That is why you people thought that Ruto had made inroads in Western. What did he say himself? That munakula pesa yangu, ikifika kura, hamunipati kura. So you see,
Ruto,
that is what he will realize in 2022.
Ruto has been a candidate.
No, but that is what he said.
No.
He said it. Why did he say that when he went to am I quoting something that has not...
Can I reply?
No, it's true.
It's true he said that. So, in 2022, after 9th, at night like this, on 9th August 2022, is when Ruto will know that so many people are eating his money and probably not telling him the truth. Can I give you an example? They thought they had made inroads in Kisii. We had a by-election in Kemakoma ward. What did they do? They went and picked our candidate. a former DO, picked him, very popular candidate, gave him UDA ticket. We picked alternative candidate and beat him. In fact, their candidate was number 5.
You know, Jeff.
So let me tell you, these things, these theories around Ruto being so popular,
Jeff.
it is not the case. It is not on the ground. It is here in the streets and in the social media, led by Tumi and others. They will realize later.
But you're not asking me. Jeff, be very fair. You asked me, will Ruto beat Raila?
And you
let me say, I've answered, but the next question you should have asked me, how?
No, we don't need to go into because that's speculation.
No, let me finish.
That's speculation.
Let me finish.
Speculation.
Let me finish. For him, you asked him how, and he gave you a very pedestrian argument of some words. William Ruto has never been a presidential candidate. This is his first step on the presidency. His candidate lost elections, not once, not twice, not thrice.
But not to Ruto.
No, you know that is
Sorry.
That's
anyway,
a pedestrian.
Okay, that's speculation, gentlemen. That's speculation.
Let me finish. Let me not lose my thought.
You're losing my thoughts because you're speculating.
No. These are facts.
They're not facts. You don't know.
William Ruto has never stood for a presidential candidate. His first term is 2022. It's a fact. Do you deny that?
First time, yes,
no,
but we don't know how.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Hold your horses. Honorable Bandi's candidate stood for presidential candidate, was a presidential candidate, lost not once, not twice, not thrice.
What's your point?
Let me finish. Then comes the question why. Raila Odinga had very critical credentials that used to make him get very high number of votes. Raila has no track record on campaigning on economic front. Raila is a governance guy, human rights, fight against tribalism. Raila lost that at the moment he shook hands with President Uhuru Kenyatta.
How so?
Oh, yes.
How so?
Yes. Raila, the gentleman who is looking after the camels in the deep part of Northhor, the moment he feels discriminated, his first person to think about was Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga has a serious credentials, more than any other leader.
Do you agree, Chairman?
I don't agree.
Come on.
He
lost in the handshake?
Jeff.
He has to answer that.
Jeff, let me ask you. Let me ask you.
You're being personal.
No, but let me ask you.
No, don't ask me. Let me ask Chairman here. He's your senior now.
No, are you a host? Or you are
controlling this debate.
You are not.
And you're talking too much.
Jeff, let him conclude. I've allowed him 1 more minute of my time.
As minority leader.
Speak.
Okay, fine. Jeff, Raila Odinga has campaigned on many platforms. Actually, he has a lot of credentials, as he put it. It's not just
on governance.
Not just governance. Raila Odinga, if you ask me, there is no one who understands the infrastructure of this country more than Raila Odinga. When he was the Minister for Energy is when we got the rural electrification program. When he became the Minister for Roads, we all know his history. And environment, bringing the environment. Who understands the value of environment more than Raila Odinga? To the extent that he lost the Rift Valley vote because of that. So he has a lot of credential, a lot of things that he believes in, which are good for this country. Now, on the handshake, Raila Odinga just became a nationalist. He just became a national leader. He became a father figure. Kenya was at crossroads. People were talking of even secession. People were talking of dividing this country, isn't it? We were basically.
Which people? One side of the political.
The point is that Kenya was divided into two.
Even
whatever that side believed in.
2013, the same.
Yes, but 2013, Raila Odinga accepted after the Supreme Court decision. He accepted. And so we say we lost 2013. We did not accept the 2017 elections. We went to court. Court annulled the results. They went for the repeat alone. So you cannot say that we accepted the outcome of that election.
Yeah.
And by the way, the country, there was no even business going on in this country. The country was burning. Duale does not want to believe that.
No, Jeff.
We had two presidents.
Jeff.
He believed in his president, whom they saw at Kasarani. We believed in our president.
Can you finish because he let you finish?
In my view, I just want to conclude by saying, that
You didn't let me
the
finish.
issue of
You didn't.
William Ruto beating Raila Odinga is hypothetical.
According to you.
Just the same, it is also hypothetical today if I tell you that Raila would beat William Ruto. As people who support Raila Odinga, I believe he will. And I would give my reasons as he was trying to give. But you said that is speculative. Let's leave it at that. The point is we are going to 2022 election. You need friends, you need alliances, you need coalition. This country, let nobody cheat you that you can chest thump, that you alone
Yes,
as a leader, you can win presidency on your own.
Agreed.
You need other people.
Agreed.
Because parties are, the strength of political parties in different regions are varied.
Let me tell you.
If you go
let me tell you the credentials.
if you go to
of
Lower Eastern, you will
listen.
find that Wiper is strong. You cannot wish that away.
Listen, let me tell you the credentials of William Ruto and why William Ruto is the man to beat.
You're talking for him now? You're a spokesman?
He's talking for Raila. So why do you have a problem when I speak for William Ruto?
Go ahead.
Why? Why do you have a problem?
Go ahead.
He is speaking for Raila. I mean, he's speaking for Raila. Okay. You have a problem, he's speaking for Ruto.
Go ahead.
And I thought I'm here to speak for William Ruto and you did.
You are.
That's why you invited me.
Carry on.
So give me my space. I'll tell you why William Ruto is the man to beat in 2022 general elections. William Ruto has a track record. When he was the Minister for Agriculture, all and sundry knows the kind of reforms he did at the Ministry of Agriculture. When he went to the Ministry of Higher Education, as a Minister for Higher Education, where he was transferred by Honorable Raila Odinga, because by then we were on his side. He did a marvelous job. This thing you hear today of technical institutions, the reforms he did in our universities. So for the first time, even the backlog, you used to stay 3 years for you to join university. It's William Ruto who fixed that problem. In our first term as Jubilee, when the synergy between the leadership, beginning with our president, our deputy president, and all of us were together, that was a time when this country was connected. Citizens, over 5 million citizens were connected to electricity. That is a time when each and every part of this country, serious road infrastructure were done with the help of the president. That's the time when SGR was built. That's the time when our port reached the 1 million number container. That's the time when the free maternity health care took place.
And who's taking credit for all that?
No, let me tell you.
No, just say, hold on. SGR, free maternity, who's giving credit?
No, by the way, let me tell you. The credit goes to the Jubilee leadership led by President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Of which you were part of?
Which I am part of.
Maybe you are still.
No, which I am part of. When we came to the second term, and we had got 4 key issues, which were to be the serious legacy projects of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and we wanted to use it as our springboard for 2022 election. Housing, manufacturing, universal health care, and I think agriculture, so that we turn from the rain-fed agriculture to irrigation.
Get to your point.
What happened, my friend? The handshake, the BBI nonsense took the center stage, and the whole focus was lost.
And so you say the handshake destroyed everything?
My friend, the handshake has not even unified this country. Today, Kenya is more divided. I can tell you. Today, Kenya is more insecure.
Mheshimiwa, do you agree with that?
No, I don't
of course,
agree.
if before he speaks, the person you want to confirm whether what I'm saying is true is the architect.
No, but
he's the
but
architect
he's also
of the handshake.
You
should ask another Kenyan.
This is the man. He's the architect.
That question you should ask yourself.
No. Listen, listen, you see, Jeff.
John Bandi. I don't know. This guy is my very good
my friend. But you see, Jeff.
That's breaking news. John Badi is the architect.
Of the handshake, of course.
No,
he's the right-hand man of Papa.
Yeah,
the way I'm the right-hand man of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Both the president and Ruto both.
Well, it's true. I'm close to Raila Odinga. One as minority leader, I'm the chairman of his party. I'm a member of parliament in his party. He's my friend. But you see, Jeff, Duale has said so many things about what Jubilee One did. A lot of it is also debatable, but you should also remember that that is also the period that this country borrowed more than any other time, and expensively.
Agreed.
And expensively.
I don't deny.
Commercial loans at
deny.
8%.
I don't deny.
That is also the time we got so much
Agreed.
promises which never were realized.
Including the laptop.
Including the laptop. Including the study. We didn't get those. That is also the time we feel that SGR was built to nowhere, because, I mean, what benefit was it bringing to the country at the end?
It?
But now, you see, we want it to be pushed to where it should have gone. If you want SGR to help this country,
where is it now?
It should go beyond where it had reached. But where are the resources? The resources, you borrowed until there is no more space to borrow.
I agree with
gentlemen.
On the issue of health and many other things. Let me tell you, William Ruto, what he's saying today that he would want to do, he should have done in the...
No.
Let's assume that the handshake, according to what they are saying, has destroyed.
Of course, we'll do the four pillars.
What did he do in the first term? The Galanda Kulalu, the agriculture that is talking about, the rent-fed agriculture that they wanted to eliminate. Galanda Kulalu was started in 2014, my friend Jeff. 10,000 acres. Where is it?
No,
money has been stolen. And in the first term, not this term, nothing has happened in this term. Under his watch, he was the majority leader that time.
He was the minority leader.
No, I wasn't the majority.
He was the minority leader.
No, I wasn't.
He was supposed to raise it.
I remember.
All right, gentlemen.
We talked about Galana Kulana forever.
We're going to go to some feedback, and also we have another guest coming up shortly, so stand by. There's our guest right now in makeup. His name is RMD, Richard Moffitt Damijo. He's coming up, Nollywood's finest, a living legend, no doubt. He's coming up. Gentlemen, we can talk all night, you know that.
You'll invite him another time.
But let's get some feedback first as we stand by. Oh, okay. Tweets are so thick and fast. Chris Sunday says, Honorable Duale, can you please apologize to the nation for referring to the Catholic Church as a cult?
No, I didn't say that.
You said ODM is
No, I said ODM is a cult.
Yes.
But I say sometimes you can run a political party within like the structures.
So you didn't say the Catholic Church is the cult?
No, I didn't. I can't. The Catholic Church is very close.
You know they're going to be repeating that clip.
The Catholic Church, in fact, is in terms of tenets and everything, is very close to the Islamic faith. I have a lot of respect for.
Can the two gentlemen expound on deportations? Yeah. First it was Miguna, then recently Harun Aiden.
No, I can talk about Miguna, who is a Kenyan. This other guy, I don't know him. Who is this? I mean, Kenya should not just allow shadowy people around also. That one I cannot even talk about. But Miguna I can. Because it is unfair.
Let's talk about
Miguna should be back in this country.
Oh.
And we have said it many times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which one?
Harun.
Yeah.
Harun, in fact, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Interior, the Immigration, they should tell us where Harun is. They should tell us. I don't know whether he has left. I don't know whether he's around. And today, you know what? The price of fake news and for government not to act correctly, when they call this guy a terrorist, it's not a joke. Today, the US government has given an advisory opinion on its citizens and the region that apart from COVID, there's an emergency of terrorism. You know, you can't play around with the word terrorist. This is the same person, the same government has given a work permit. But to cut the story short, I'm asking you, where is Harun? We want the police to speak to tell us where he is. We want foreign affairs.
But let me ask you, Jeff.
Let me ask you, Jeff.
How come Duale knows that this guy is not a terrorist? I don't know.
No, Jeff, let me ask you.
The government has said he is.
To be very fair to the citizens of this country, because we are not a banana republic, the police, the immigration, the foreign affairs ministry must tell this country through a press statement or a press conference the whereabouts, the story behind this gentleman called Harun and where he is. We even don't know, is he in police cell? Is he in Uganda? Is he in Turkey? You know, government cannot keep quiet on a very serious matter like this.
Did you read he was deported?
They say the deputy president apologized. But the same people say the deputy president doesn't speak for government. So that's why I don't.
But he sent him an apology on Twitter.
So from where I sit, this is the same deputy president. The same people in government said he doesn't speak for government.
No, he was speaking in his own capacity.
Please tell the police and the foreign affairs.
All right.
In fact, I'll raise a question in parliament on the whereabouts of this man. We need to know.
Okay, MP Kimani says democracies around the world must be wondering about Kenya's state house.
No.
It's unheard of for an outgoing president planning, supporting, organizing his political opponents to succeed him. And you mentioned that before, didn't you?
Yes.
The same thing you said, right?
Yeah. It's never happened. Tell me one country.
Okay, Galia Prit says politics is about seized opportunities and missed opportunities. I'm impressed those at State House meeting in Mombasa are seizing this one.
No. They never seized. They never agreed.
What do you mean?
They have egos. You know, let me tell you. The moment you use the tribal card for you to win the next presidential election 2022, you have lost.
But we are very tribal. Come on, let's face it. We are a tribal.
That's what Moi thought.
And let me
that the people have egos, that they would not come together. They came together, and his candidates.
But you know what? No, 202 was different.
Why?
It is Moi who messed the succession metrics. There was Raila Odinga, who was more senior to President Uhuru Kenyatta. There was Mudavadi. There was Kalonzo who served. There was George Saitoti, who served as a vice president. Moi, in his own wisdom, wanted to fix the succession of 2002. What happened? The whole country ganged. The scenario is going to be similar. You assemble a group of tribal chiefs, the country will gang against tribalism and ethnic politics and ethnic mobilization. Take that to the bank.
All right, Chairman, you get the last word. Go on. You get the last word.
I want him
and
also,
don't interrupt.
I want him also to take this to the bank. That if you think that the country will rally behind you and you are an individual who is not known to be uniting the country previously, that you think just by saying there is a so-called hustler nation, that people will follow you like goats and sheep, and then talk about bottom-up, which many of your lieutenants don't even understand, and you think people will follow that. Wait for next year. People want to be safe in your government. You must demonstrate to them that their interests will be taken care of.
Let me ask you a question.
That's it. That's the final word. You said you wouldn't interrupt.
Let me just ask you now. He has finished. Let me ask you a question. When William Ruto was...
Are we going to go into a whole history?
Okay. No, when he was in ODM, he was a good guy.
He was part of the Pentagon?
Yes. He was second to Raila, one of the key guys. I was with him in ODM. He was a good guy. When he was with the President Uhuru Kenyatta, we formed URP-TNA and March, he was a good guy. I could answer that. But tomorrow, because even as we are going to form coalitions, tomorrow if William Ruto...
Now I like that.
Yeah.
They are going to form coalitions.
No.
With tribal chiefs?
No. Not tribal chiefs.
With the tribal chiefs?
No, let me tell you, by the way.
With who?
You allow me. If William Ruto today, or these guys join us, for example.
You're saying ODM?
Yeah. Let's
ODM.
say, for example, politics. Let's say, in case even we form, ODM will start praising. It's not good.
Well, that's politics.
That's politics.
ODM is a big river. They join us.
Would you work
No.
Would you work with UDA?
No, that is for the party to discuss.
Can I challenge them?
Would you work with ODM?
It may be difficult, but...
Can I challenge them?
It will be difficult.
Can I challenge them? The tribal chiefs that met, let them raise 135 or 140 members of parliament that we raise at Karen. These are people who are their streams.
All right, gentlemen.
The big river is a UDA.
It's a year away, my goodness. It's good to see you.
I'm lucky you did not
must come back to the bench, huh? You must come back, Chairman.
Yeah, but you didn't give me orientation. I'm yeah.
Don't get up yet.
No.
We're going to take a break. We need to take some pictures as well.
Yes.
So let's take a break. Come back. Keep tweeting at Jeff at
I'm on the bench.
I'm also.
We're coming back with Richard Mofe Damijo, RMD, in the house. Stand by for that. It's going to be a treat. Stay tuned. This is Jeff Koinange live on Citizen TV. Back in a moment. Bye.